Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the law of attraction, manifesting success stories show comes in. If you are ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello, and welcome back to this episode. I am your host, Cassie Parks, and I am here again with Anita Dambavari. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to catch up today. There's so many amazing things, but first, tell us what's awesome.
What's awesome is yesterday was my 33rd birthday.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Thank you. So I got a lot of love and fun adventures.
Amazing. That's awesome. I love it. Well, let's talk about manifesting money. What's your current manifested total that we're going to celebrate today?
The current total is $167,382.98.
Yay!
Today.
I love how that's even higher than the total I had from just like a day ago.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun because yesterday I was working and we ended up in DC and I'm flying with one of my friends. And we got to see a really good old friend of mine that used to be my roommate. And I got to meet his girlfriend and their dog. And we went for a hike and they took us out to lunch. It was just so fun.
Amazing birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, that is super fun. I love it. How does it feel to have that manifested total?
Really cool. Yes. I definitely never imagined that I would be saying that number.
Yay. Oh, amazing. I'm so excited because I know it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your biggest aha or growth since our last interview.
Since our last interview, my biggest aha was that I was ready to start the process of becoming a life coach myself.
Yay. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about it a couple of years and through a few different opportunities, it just struck me that now is the time. I'm ready.
Awesome. I love that. I remember that from your application.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I know one of the reasons that you even joined the Enchanted Circle was because I love this because I don't think everyone says this. I want to be a coach someday, and I think I should have coaching before I become a coach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So would you still agree with that statement?
Well, now I'm ready to become the coach.
Yes.
So,
but would you say anyone who's becoming a coach, was it beneficial to have coaching before jumping into becoming a coach?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like, I didn't know what was going on in the coaching world. I just thought, that sounds like something I would be good at and interested in. So I need to find out more. I can't just wing it.
Right?
I want to help people.
I love that. Was that really just kind of the thoughts that you had? I think it was almost 2 years ago. But that I want to do something that helps people. Tell us what you wanted in even those basic, not basic, but beginning seeds of coaching.
Well, I think in the beginning, it was definitely more focused on another avenue of income.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of evolved to be like, no, I actually do want to help people and be effective. It's not about me. And maybe at that time I was a little more desperate for another income stream. And now it's like, oh, it's just a bonus if I make money from coaching because I have a job that I enjoy and I'm not in this needy place.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so much better. How do you think that's going to make it easier to become a coach and build a business?
I think it's going to be more attractive to people. They're going to feel less like they're being sold to and more like they're going to get the benefit out of it. And I am coming from a really genuine place.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I Love that. And I personally think one of the best places, if anyone wants to be a coach, is like not to just quit your job and become a coach and hope that all works out, but like to do it like you're doing, where there is no desperation involved. It's just you get to be in the process and you get to enjoy the whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so thankful that I have what I do have for a job and an income, because I know that it would be totally different if like I had left my job and I was seeking the sole source of income, or, like I would be scared and probably not in a good mental space.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you made an investment in your coaching school, right? So tell us
Yes.
about that and how the money showed up for that.
Okay. Yeah. So I made a $12,000 investment, which definitely took me a couple of years to build up to that comfort level to dish out that amount of money. And I didn't know where it was going to come from when I signed up. I had like the initial from some emergency savings. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make the first $2,000 from there. And then I'm just going to see where it comes from. And hopefully I can swing it every month and put in that 2,000.
Yes.
So I just jumped off the cliff and went for it. And within 2 weeks, I had all the money, and it's already 100% paid for. And that came about with some tax refunds that I was not expecting. I got a refund from my refinance. I didn't even use the extra mortgage payment that I saved. But
that's amazing.
That's somewhere else. Yeah, but that was another cool bonus of money. And just what I had in some accounts and checks that came in. It was incredible. So I really take that as a sign that I made the right choice, that it came in so quickly. Like, I was just hoping to make the payments by November. And it's been 2 weeks. So
amazing.
Feels really good.
Yeah, totally aligned and totally, a reflection of who you've grown into be as a manifestor, right? Where now you can say yes and have it show up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I'll just add that in the last probably, like 6 years, I have not received any money in a federal or state tax refund. Zero. I have paid money because of my other businesses.
Yes. Isn't that amazing?
It is. And like now it's like, here you go, here's thousands of dollars. I'm like, what? Of all the years, this is the one.
How does that feel?
Really cool. Just exciting.
Yeah. What are you most excited about for your coach training program and becoming a coach?
I'm excited for just getting really good at what I'm doing and feel that confidence of knowing that I'm going to help people.
That's awesome. Talk to us about not giving yourself any more excuses not to do what you want.
Can you remind me what I said about that earlier? Because I can't even remember.
But what you said was that's the biggest way you've changed or grown or shifted over the past couple months. Yeah. And I think that probably has to do with coaching and I'm guessing, and really going for it because it's something that you wanted. And I think I know in the beginning you were not doing it intentionally because you were like, I should have experience as a coach before I become a coach, right? Mm-hmm. And which I love because, like I said in the beginning, not everybody does that, which I think is very interesting. And but yeah, have you been putting off being a coach? How did this kind of come about?
Yeah. Do you want me to go into detail about your program? Okay. Yeah. So you had told me in the beginning, like, hey, I'm going to probably offer some sort of a coach training program. So I was looking forward to that and thinking, okay, well, we'll see what that looks like when the time comes. And you did put that out probably a couple months ago.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Yeah. So I listened to that and it just wasn't a fit for me with the time commitment of it. And I was like, I really want to start my own business. I want to do my own thing. And Mike had mentioned something to me. It's like, what else could you do with 6 years if you really applied yourself? Like, think about what you could accomplish. I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Like, I could. And I've been putting it off and thinking I'm not good enough and I'm not ready. And I'm just tired of that. It clicked. I don't know. I think it was a combination of things. I don't think there was any one thing that was like, okay, now it's time to stop being a scaredy cat and go for it. But I don't know. I just think the whole process has brought me to this point where I don't want to put off my dreams any longer. I don't want to be scared of what other people are going to think. What a stupid reason to not live your one life.
Right. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember going to my friend's house and I was like, I'm doing this. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm doing it. I'm going to invest in myself. Like, the time is now. No more excuses.
That's amazing.
I don't know if that makes sense, but it's just.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think if you want, like, I'll put together maybe the pieces that you're like, I think there was a lot of things that came together, right? So one, you've been building and becoming this person, right? Who, number one, knows that coaching works and you can make a change when you have someone else to see that blind spot for you, which I think is one of the biggest things that coaches do, is like they can see the thing that you can't see usually. Right. And so you've been really building that up. And so I send out this email that, do you want to be a coach? And so I sent out two, right? So the first, and you had to fill out, why do you want to be a coach? And how do you feel about this? And what do you want in 5 years? Right. And I loved it because you're like, I can live in Greece, which you talked about last episode, I think. And I can live in Greece and I can be a coach and I can do this. And it's all awesome. So I think really you also had that opportunity to open up and see, oh yeah, this is the next thing. This is the next place to step into my future self because this is what she's doing, right? Likely a good thing, a good possibility of what she's doing, right? And I loved, I think you had I know you had a little hesitation about telling me like, I did this other program, which I love because I think that is, for listeners, that's what we get caught up in like, oh, somebody's going to think it means something if something's not for me. Right. But I also think we're trained in that way. And I'm excited to be around as you go sort of into the coaching world and start to do different marketing and things like that. Because I think even marketing to a lot of us or training in any of that, if you've had it before in any other business, very much teaches us, well, if somebody's not buying, you have to change the words. It's you. It's like something that you did. But really, it's about things being a fit. And so seeing that wasn't a fit, very often what happens is when we see something's not a fit, we're like, oh, and I still want this, and this is how I want it. And then it helps with that clarity when something isn't a fit, because we're like, oh, I want this. I want my own business. I want to build my own things, which was not a surprise to me. Even when I got your initial, because there was like not an application, like I'm interested. And then you had to watch a video and then you have to say if you're really interested. Right. And when I got your first one, I was like, I don't know if this is for her. Like, I've always seen her doing something else, but we'll see. And clearly that was it, right? It's not a fit because there is something else you want, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I want to thank you for putting that offer out there because that really did kick me in the ass. And I was like, oh, like I could go this option, or I can just start what I've been dreaming about starting.
Yes. Yay.
So I appreciate that. Like, who knows how much longer it would have taken if you hadn't put that offer out there.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Tell us a little bit about what you know now about what you want to create in your coaching business. Do you have any inklings?
Hmm.
And if
I'm
not, it's
still
okay to
kind of
say I
trying
don't
to
know.
figure it out. Yes, I'm still trying to figure out who exactly I want to help. I'm doing some one-on-one coaching with a few people complimentary right now, and I'm kind of in that transition of figuring out, like, when do I start charging people for this? Am I good enough yet? But yeah, I haven't gotten clarity on exactly who I want to help. I think I want to help people who are, kind of what you're doing, where it's just individual people who want to be better at life all
Yeah.
around. Yeah, but I know I do have to, like, probably hone in on a niche at some
Yeah.
point. I'm just not sure exactly what that is yet.
That's all right. Let it come.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Well, shift gears a little bit. You want to tell us how your future self has been showing up on trips to Florida?
Oh, yes. She has been showing up very free, fun, uh, just loving life and enjoying her important people.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And just taking the time to do something fun and not work.
Yay!
Yeah.
It's taken a while, right? If you guys have been listening to Anita's story for a while, that wasn't something that you came here knowing how to do, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would go on a vacation, like a big vacation, maybe once a year,
Hmm.
and I am really good at traveling and vacationing, but I'm learning to do like the mini vacations. Like, it doesn't have to all build up to this giant adventure. It can also
Yeah.
be like a weekend here, a weekend there. Yeah.
Amazing. What does that open up in your life?
Definitely a sense of more peace and calm and self love, self
Awesome.
care. Yeah.
Yay. I love that.
And just possibilities to say yes to so many opportunities.
Yeah, because you're not kind of waiting on that one big trip. Like would you say you're more willing to say yes to opportunities?
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes,
love
I would.
Awesome. I think it seems, I don't know if it seems silly to someone listening, probably not to us, but to some people, like the idea of that mini vacation seems silly. Like, oh, would you pay? And, you probably don't have to pay so much for like the airline, but some people get tripped up and like, oh, it's this much for the ticket. I shouldn't just go for 2 days. And
Hmm.
people build up to it has to be this whole thing. And then all the pressure is on like this 1 week of your life instead of like, no, I can go enjoy this now and have a really great weekend and invest in that and enjoy that. And it's amazing.
Yeah, like Mike and I just went on Friday to celebrate my birthday, and we got this hotel downtown, and it was just this nice night out, and we enjoyed the hotel, and then I went to work the next day. But it was like a little, like, the miniest of trips.
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. And I love that you went to work, not because you went to work, but because you didn't stop yourself because you had to go to work.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I
Yeah.
can make it all work, of course.
Yeah. And
And
of
be
course,
fine.
yeah, and still enjoy, not feel like you missed out on like the experience because you have to go to work next. It's like, no, I can have a fun experience and still go to work.
Exactly. Yeah, and then I
Uh,
came to work with my one of my very best friends, and I'm getting paid to hang out over my birthday weekend. So it's all good.
yeah, that's amazing. Did you always have that perspective? Because I think you have a job that lends itself to, I don't know, stepping in more or doing vacation. But have you always been able to see that opportunity, or did you really keep it as like in the past, not now, but like, oh, I'm at work, like I can't really let myself have fun. I don't know. That's the right way to ask that question.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning more into the fun aspect of it. I've always known that that's a possibility. And
Mhm.
actually, my friend that I'm flying with was my roommate in training. So we all had always had this idea of like, let's always fly together. Like, let's just work together all the time and then we'll just be hanging out, which, practically has not worked out.
Right.
But we do as much as we can. So it's always a great time.
Yay. I know that you recently let go of your real estate license.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but I am.
Oh, but you're going to. Okay.
Uh, I am like 90% of the way
Yeah.
mentally to letting it go, which I need some of your help with.
We can do that.
Yeah.
What has the inklings? How did you get to the 90%? Just this, how did that come about?
Well, I think it's been building over the years. I've been
Mhm.
paying for the continuing education courses. I've been paying for the renewal fees. I've been paying for hanging my license somewhere. I've been spending my time doing the continuing education classes year after year, and I'm not using the license. And it just
Mhm.
seems like a total waste, which, may or may not be. I don't have a crystal ball of if there's a point that, oh, I should have kept my license. But it's been 8 years since I've used it
Mm.
for anything.
Yeah.
So it's been building. And then I think this new coaching avenue has clarified some things as well. Like, why am I hanging on to this backup plan, for lack of a better term? But it's like kind of, it's something in my back pocket should I need it.
Right.
And I kind of want to cut that cord and just go full steam ahead.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What do you think will happen when you cut the cord?
Well, definitely going to free some space up in my life, mentally
Mhm.
and just financially. So I definitely see more space that I could use in a different way.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah.
All right, it's coming. And if we need to coach on it, we can. But I think
Yeah.
this is really opening just the conversation is opening the door, right? Because
Yeah.
when you're willing to have the conversation sort of about what it costs you versus, but I have to have it, right?
Mhm.
And the most important thing, it's interesting because people listening might be like, well, if you're not using, like, how is it taking mental space, right?
Mhm.
But it is. How is it taking up mental space?
Because I'm thinking about, oh, my renewal date is coming up. Even if it's 2 years away, I'm like in the back of my head, like, that's when I have to have my classes all done. Oh, did I pay for the classes? Have I done the classes? How many classes have I done? Let me make sure I have the ones I'm supposed to have. Like, do I have the money to pay for the renewal? Like, it's just, it's always in the back, like just lingering.
hmm All right. I'm excited for when we get to update listeners about that space being
Yes.
done. And I know it'll be soon. And like I said, we can keep coaching on it. But that's one of the ways to just start letting go is to even like open up the conversation like you'd already opened with yourself and taking it a step further of seeing, okay, what is really going on versus the story I have about, oh, I have to have this thing in my back pocket just in case, right?
Yeah. Yeah, which doesn't seem like a very inspired place to come from.
Right.
Like, it doesn't elicit faith.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, see, you're getting it.
I'm getting it. I'm getting
It's coming. But one day soon you'll just cut it and
it.
it'll
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's over. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I have more
Well, I have
space.
2 weeks to cut the cord over
Oh, it's 2 weeks.
into
Okay,
you.
cool.
Yes. I already took all the classes I needed to. So part of me was like, oh, I'll just pay for it because I already took the classes. And then the smarter part of me was like, cut your losses, stupid. Like, who cares if you took the classes? Like, why are you going to give them more money?
And be in this position like 2 years from now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And I always say, if you knew your coaching business was going to be a success, would you want that in your back pocket anymore?
No.
Huh.
No. I got better things to do with my
You do.
time. Yes.
Yay. All right. I'm excited to see how this plays out. Listeners, we will update you next interview on how the cutting of the cord went. But I think it's probably going to be pretty successful. I love it. Cool. Anything else you wanted to share on that?
I don't think so. That's
right.
where I'm at.
Do you have any questions that you want to ask me?
Yes. I don't remember what I wrote as my question a few days ago.
That's fine. What is the best way to overcome self-doubt when it creeps in, or the not good enough feelings? And I'm guessing this question is directly related to becoming a coach, right? Because
yes.
I think that you had you tell me if I'm wrong, so I get clear on the answer. But before you said yes to coaching, this was probably happening very little. Is that accurate, or was it happening a lot?
A little, because I wasn't putting myself out there
to become a coach.
Yeah.
Got it. But it's mostly been tied to coaching recently.
Yeah, like especially in this question of like, when do I start charging people?
Yeah.
For this?
Yes.
When am I good enough?
When am I good enough? Right. And I think the key here is to separate that question and go back. So when do I start having people invest in themselves to work with me? Is based on inspiration. Right. So you don't have to figure that out now, just like this whole path, just like there's a lot of things that you've done in the past 2 years that you didn't have to figure out. Like slowly you've been letting go of figuring things out, and amazing things have been happening. Right.
Very true.
Your amazing house, to just like all of these things. Right. And so if you separate like when, and anytime you're asking, how do I, very often then people like, if you don't know the answer and you can't figure out the how, then it's like, oh, well, why am I not doing it? And then we're like, oh, because I'm afraid. But you don't want to keep telling that story. Like, I'm afraid to get when people tell me. You want to just lean on inspiration and trust that you'll know when it's time to have someone invest in you. You'll know what it's supposed to be the first time, right? And there's all these structures out there that will, tell you, or very often I have found, talking to people from other coaching programs and different, oh, you should be charging this, you should be doing this, you should do this. And it really comes to what feels good. And from experience, again, in the last while, that if it feels good, it works. If it doesn't feel good, it's probably not going to work, right? Whether it's charging $20 or $2,000, if it doesn't feel good, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was kind of buying into like the different versions that I've been hearing, like, oh, you should never coach for free. like, well, that doesn't feel good either. Like,
right.
And then some people are like, you should never coach for less than $2,000 a client, like per session. Like, oh my God, like that doesn't feel good.
That doesn't feel good.
Yeah. But thank you for that insight.
Yeah. And I will tell you, Manifest 10K, which is originally money, 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 like that payment structure that has come back again and is now again, because it's inspired, like pay after you manifest. I'm not suggesting this is what you do, but when I asked myself, what is the investment for that? That's the answer I got. And I didn't, you don't have to figure that out until you're in the moment. So often I think there's all these things that we think we have to have figured out before we do it. Right. Or like, oh, for 3 months from now, if I want to coach somebody and get paid, I need to figure out how much that is. Like, no, you could book the session and decide right before the discovery call, and not decide, but be inspired, right? Like, oh, this is what I'm charging now. And this is what I charge in this new place. And I have always I always count my like coaching business in two sections. I think you know that. So, this successful version, I have always gone on inspiration, and it has always worked. And it has almost never been what someone else's advice would be, but it's always been what felt good.
Yeah.
And it has taken a lot of twists and turns and shifted and grown. But the most important thing is that it feels good to me. And so it feels good to those people that are investing.
Yeah, because you will probably exude what you're feeling inside.
Yes.
Which, if you feel good, then people will see that and feel more comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Awesome. Yay. I just had this vision of your dog. Like, you probably know, if you get super anxious, your dog gets super anxious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that clients are dogs, but they pick up on that. Like, if we're anxious about the amount of money that we want to say is the investment, like, they're going to pick up on that. Like, I'm anxious to invest in that.
Yeah.
But when we find that inspired place that feels 100% good to us, and we're relaxed, they're relaxed, and it can feel good to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. That's a great reminder always to just follow inspiration, first of all, and you don't have to have it all figured out.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think that ties into, you had said, doubt and the not good enough, right? Ties into price. Is it that only tie into price, or does that tie into even thinking about new clients?
I would say both. Yeah. Both.
Yeah. And I would say to that is just know that it's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your confidence comes with doing it. Like, you're never going to feel good enough the first time. You feel good enough afterwards, is what I will say. And so even when you come up against a new thing in coaching, you feel good enough after you've supported that person. I don't think most people feel good enough before, unless they're just sort of unattached from how they really feel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's doing it that makes it like, oh, I am good at that. And it's one of those things you do have to do. You don't have to feel good enough to do it. You just have to be inspired by the price and everything else, the investment, all those things, line those up and trust and do it. And then notice how good it feels and how good you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. Yes. And, how can you feel good at something you haven't done?
Right?
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's another great reminder of like, yeah, if you want to feel confident, just go out and do the thing, which will build confidence.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing this moment in your journey with us. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure our listeners got a lot of our conversation. I'm so excited for you, and very excited to watch your coaching journey unfold.
Thank you. I am too.
Amazing. Well, all of you listening, thanks for joining us. Make sure to come back and check out what's awesome in Anita's life next time.
Thank you for joining us on the Law of Attraction Manifesting Success Stories show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.